guys. I'm so excited to be back. It is day two of our 7-day fast, breaking free and overcoming from the spirit of fear. Whew, that was a lot to say. I'm so glad to be back. Truthfully, I won't lie. Um, it kind of took me a lot to record tonight. I've had a busy day, I've had a busy week, a lot on my mind. And it feels good to just kind of come on here and release and join you guys. Hopefully, you guys are joining me on this fast and breaking through and overcoming what is holding us back. And we're going to talk about our anointing tonight. We're going to talk about how we can defeat fear with our anointing. And what better person to talk about that in the Bible than the man himself, David, right? Everyone knows the story of David and Goliath. If you don't, please go look it up. I encourage you. Long story short, David was a shepherd boy, and he was heavily unseen. God sent Samuel to go out there and to David's family. And Samuel went out there. He said, I'm looking for the next king. And he told God, I don't know who you want me to pick. And God's like, no, not that one. He's like, this one? No, not that one. He's like, the other brother? No, not that one. Yada, yada, yada. Finally, David comes. Yay, he gets anointed, right? Fast forward, maybe a few days later, maybe a few weeks later, who knows how long it took. Let's just say that in the span of a couple of days, David's father was like, I need you to take this to your brothers while they're all fighting, and I need you to make sure they're okay and make sure you bring something back so we know that they're okay and that you actually went to go do what I told you to do. David does it. He's obedient, of course, right? Gets out there. His brother's like, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. And of course, David's moving, shaking things. He's like, I should be able to be here. Then, of course, Goliath, the big bad wolf, he's like, oh, I will defeat anyone. And of course, King Saul at the time, who David replaced his anointing, just FYI. And so King Saul was like, any man who can defeat this big bad wolf Goliath, they will live tax free and can't remember the other thing, but go read it yourself. But of course, David's like, I can. And of course, King Saul's like, no, you can't. Puts on the armor on him. David's like, ugh, no, this doesn't really fit me. Takes it off. I can defeat this man. I have everything I need. If I defeated lions, bears, saved lambs out of the mouths of a tiger, then I can definitely defeat Goliath. Long story short, he defeats Goliath. Wow, what a beautiful story. Might I add, with the slingshot. Took that little slingshot, bloop, busted open his skull, and took his sword, boom, chopped his head off. Quite a story, actually. But this story is important because it measures up to David's anointing, but the boldness that he had within it. And the trust that he had within it and how seriously he took it, knowing, no, God's got me. God's my boy. I trust him. If God gave me this anointing and this power, then I should be able to do what he told me I could do with it. Like, it sounds like funny or it sounds like okay, but if I walked around with that type of confidence, knowing that God anointed me and he sent me somewhere to do what I'm supposed to be doing, man, I don't even know what I would say. I would be so much further in life. I guess I would say that. Anywho, neither here nor there. Um, I think the same thing, like I just said, is the most important part. God's anointing is on you. God's anointing is on me, just like God's anointing was on David, and you could see it on him. And I think that's another important part that I'm not really going to go into today, but the jealousy that people have whenever they just simply see your anointing and they can feel it. And people will try and discourage you. And people will try and plant that little seed of doubts, plant that little seed of fear. So be wary of those people when you know you have an anointing. Okay? I don't know why I always say, okay, I've been watching some of my videos back and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and stop saying it. So yeah, let's continue. I wrote down, it doesn't matter what people think compared to God's calling on your life. Didn't I just say that? Didn't I just say people were going to try and not try, they are going to be jealous of you and your calling? I almost said it. Anyways, let's move forward. Um, it says, David looks at Goliath and says, no, I have the Lord with me and I will defeat you. Come on now. Come on, David. Okay, that was a little spicy. I like will, not can, not could, will. You know, everybody was shaking in their boots at this moment. I'm trying to think of something in modern day times that would be like, that would have us on the edge of our seat, like, oh my gosh, is he actually going to do it? And he does it, and everyone's like, I don't know. Hey, that's fear, though. Huh? Revelation. And so I just encourage you right now, right here, to repeat after me. Okay, we're gonna say that fear. Okay, fear. You just shut up right now. You got to get your Viola Davis on. Fear, you just shut up right now. Yep. I hear it. I hear it. I feel the floor trembling from you saying it. You're not allowed to speak another word to me. This day, fear, you will bow. I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of y'all. I hope that statement brings some sort of encouragement, power, freedom, truthfully, to know that you can speak to your fear. Self-doubt, you will bow. Okay? Oh, there, I said it again. Anyways, I think that's a sign. So I wrote, God chose you to carry his power and his name. It says he chose you to make a difference in your family and at your job or at school. Any place, God can use you anywhere, anytime. I'm sure we've all had those situations where you're like, God, right now? God, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? And when you have those thoughts, what is that? Fear. Me? Yeah, you. Here? Yeah, here. You get what I'm trying to say? You see the pattern? Yeah. And it says, you're anointed to take down and overcome the spirit of fear. Now, I don't want to make this a big deal. But like I said, the fact that we're anointed to take down and overcome the spirit of fear, it doesn't take rocket scientists. It doesn't take a therapist. It doesn't take medication. All it takes is you and your anointing to overcome the spirit of fear. I'll let that flow down the little river. And it says sometimes our fears appear as a giant to intimidate us, but we can defeat it with only a small little stone called anointing. Now, not to toot my own horn here, but I did make this quote up as I was reading this. And it really just spoke to me because I was just like, the giant that David was going to defeat, Goliath, he's just big and tall. His physical presence, it's almost, this reminds me of, I hope I'm saying the right person. I want to say Michael Jordan, either Michael Jordan or Shaq. I can't remember which one. Tall. I can't remember how tall he is. 6'7", big man, built. No good at free throws. No good at free throws. And the same thing with Goliath. Who knows if he could even actually fight? He was just big in appearance. And when we're not used to seeing something in our life, we are afraid of it. It is unnatural. It is uncomfortable. And when we see it, I'm sure those little people have never seen anybody above 6 foot before. Could you imagine seeing someone for the first time in your life that's 6'3"? You would automatically feel like, holy cow, you would physically feel small. And that's what fear tries to do to us. It puts something in our way for the first time that we've never seen before. Oh my God, I don't know how to handle this. Oh my God, what is this? Oh my God, this is affecting me. Oh my God, I've never seen this. How am I gonna overcome this? It's just to intimidate you. But if you really look at it in the face and you say, bow down. Sorry. Anywho. And you look up and you say, I have something for you. I got something for that behind. And you pull out your little stone and you say, knock it right in the skull. And I don't know if that's just not as majestic to anyone else as it is for me. But truthfully, defeating a giant, something that appears as a giant in your life, or that may physically be giant, because that is not an appearance, it's factual. But if you take a little stone, you just every month, $100, $500, $200, $20, little stones. It's no longer overtaking you. It's no longer overcoming you. And again, don't forget about your anointing. God did not desire for us to stay in a state of fear. God did not desire for us to bow down to anything else other than Him. If you are bowing down to your fear, then you are not walking in your anointing, and you cannot call yourself a believer, and you do not have enough faith. Sorry to say it. I'm talking to myself as well, to be honest. And this reminds me of, quick side note, the story of Moses and how he had fear. And I feel like this would have been great for this lesson too. But we're going from the Bible plan. But Moses was afraid. God said, I want you to go over there and I want you to tell them that I sent you this and the third, and you're going to do this. Moses said, I will not do such a thing. I have a stutter. No. And it's funny because then, of course, God sends Aaron with him to actually speak for him. And it goes to show how, again, how powerful your words are, and how okay, excuse me, how you can defeat things. You can defeat your Goliaths. You can delete your you can delete your fear by simply speaking and believing. And I'm sure if Moses did that same thing, if he never had fear, maybe it would have gone. Excuse me. Okay, I don't know what's wrong today, you guys. Let's keep moving. Huh. I'm sure Moses would have taken a completely different approach. I'm not going to sit here and say that because I don't know, because he did what he did for a reason, obviously. But it's just a great story of how fear overcame him and he got stiff and stagnant. It's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. No, God, no, no, no. Please don't send me. Send someone else. God was like, no. And I feel like that's just so powerful. And gosh, I don't know. This story encouraged me to, you know what? Yep. We are going to sit here and we are going to speak down to our fear. So, I have some questions. First one is, have you ever been excluded or put down by others in your life? How did it affect your ability to walk in God's calling in your life? Ooh. I put my family when I told them I wanted to act. I can't specifically remember what was said to me, but it was kind of just like some comments of, I'm not really going to say the comments because I love my family. I just don't think they realized how they were coming off. But I will say that it made me feel like I was just discouraged and I had a lot of self doubt. Like, well, am I going to make it? Am I good enough for this? And that's when my fear started to creep in and kind of just started to like, it's like a sticker. I don't know if hopefully you guys know what a sticker is. Those little things stick on your skin. It's like a little sticker. And like it hurts to take out and it hurts when it's in. But like kind of took there for a while because it did sting. And so, needless to say, I am where I am now. Mwah. Thanks to my anointing. Okay. Oh God, said it again. It's okay. Anyways, the next question is recall a time you overcame the voice of fear. What happened? And how did you fight back? And how did knowing or not knowing about your anointing affect you? I have panic attacks. And I never understood where they come from. And that was just all the more, it made me all the more fearful because I didn't know where they would come from, why they were happening. And that's the thing about panic attacks or anxiety attacks. You never really know when they're going to happen. They kind of just happen. So you think. And that made me afraid. When is my next anxiety attack going to happen? And I was kind of living in a state of constant fear. And, you know, my mentor at the time when I was working at a church, she used to help me through my anxiety attacks because they would happen there at times where mine. And this helped me realize that maybe this whole time my panic attacks and my anxiety attacks were coming from me knowing my anointing and being overwhelmed from that. I didn't realize it at the time. I thought it was just everything else happening in my life. But subconsciously I knew my anointing. And when I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to be, or not even that, it's just sometimes when life gets overwhelming, I kind of just go into a state of fight or flight. And like, oh my God, this is too much. But my mentor, when I was going through them, she would pray for me and tell me to breathe. And even my manager, I had one not too long ago, and she was like, you're safe. A lot of the times when you're having an anxiety attack, your body feels like you're not safe. You're telling yourself you're not safe, but you are safe. And after reading this, if I ever do have another anxiety attack, I would speak to it. Anxiety, you do not hold a place here. And if I remember correctly, I think my manager did tell me to speak some things out loud. I can't remember specifically what she said, but she told me, she said, say this to yourself. And I said it. And it started to settle down. It doesn't completely go away. I'm not going to say that, especially in that during those states specifically, but it helped. And don't allow yourself to sit there because you don't know anything better to do, or you you're comfortable with feeling the panic and the anxiety. Don't allow yourself to sit in it. Come out of it because you have an anointing and a calling. Okay? Gosh. Anyways, instead of a prayer today, I feel like God was leading me to encourage you to worship. So I invite you to pause the video and not pause the video. I encourage you to, after you finish this video, worship. And a song that I specifically recommend is You Are My Strength by William Murphy. I listened to it before I started this video. And so I hope you gather some strength whenever you're trying to overcome fear. And I hope you just worship and you let go of everything and you just lie on the floor or touch your heart and ground yourself and allow God to come into the spirit and into the space and remind you that He is your strength. I love you guys, and I hope you guys found this video and this fast encouraging as I am finding it, regaining my confidence. Fear took away so much of my confidence and regaining my life, reclaiming my life back, reclaiming my anointing and my calling. And this is going to do the same for you. I wholeheartedly believe that. As long as you stick with me for the next 5 days. I love you guys, and I will see you for day 3.